Hello, everybody. It's Friday. Whoops, wrong chart. It's a big one today. Hello, Ango Blackson. Thank you for coming. This one today is entitled Knocking on Heaven's Door. Who knows the song? Not a religious commentary, by the way. Hope that doesn't offend anybody. But we are so close to something very big. And I'll break it all down today in 50 nuggets. And as well, Marbello, thank you so much for coming. And who did I miss? Anglo-Baxton and Sir Winston is back. And thank you as well to Sean Donnelly, TND Tesla, K8, and everybody else. Let's get into it because it's a big story today. So much stuff to uncover. It's insane. Let's first of all say it's disclaimer. Nothing I say is financial advice. And shout out as well to everybody on Patreon from Lin Lin. The channel is awesome. Patreon is great. Thank you for being there. Now, who has ever seen a fear and greed this high, ladies and gentlemen? We are at 94. So this is extreme greed. Yesterday, 82. So it's jumped an awful lot. Last month, it was 71, just greed. But it's rare you see it up at this level because people now are just clamoring hand over fist to get their hands on you know what. This puppy, Bitcoin. Today, about an hour and a half ago, it hit $99,860. So close, so close, so close. And we know there are some sell walls between here and $100,000. But I can tell you with a very high degree of certainty, they're probably going to be broken this weekend. And I'll prove it to you with data because that's all we do here. So let's get into it. This is the Bitcoin sell wall. Shout out to Joe Consorti. Only 2,205 Bitcoin or $219 million left in the spot Bitcoin sell wall between here and $100,000. Climb. And by the way, what happens after $100,000 is like an air gap for those pilots out there or people who fly a lot. Basically, it's fresh air. So once you break that 100K, the crazy FOMO will begin because people know it'll go very quickly to 110,000 and then maybe even further. But let's look at this sell wall, see exactly what's going on here and what that 2,000 Bitcoin looks like. You can see here, not very much, 2250 as we speak. And, when you consider the amount of buying happening right now, nation states, etc., that's not a lot of Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen, not a lot. So that's to say, I say, and I'll make this prediction right now, I'm not afraid of stepping up, and it's called getting out of your comfort zone. I don't care. I don't care anymore. It's such a good time to be alive. I don't care what people think. Shark Lever, Piper, and JD, thank you as well so much for coming. Now, what happens at $100,000? Even more important. This is kind of crazy. $2 billion worth of shorts will be liquidated if we hit 100,000. Of course, those shorts are going to cover and scramble to cover their short positions, which means that's what typically happens at these huge thresholds. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see Bitcoin going to 100K, the number that so many people said would never happen. We are right there. It's probably going to happen this weekend. And then, once that happens, these folks have to cover, which means they have to buy. But the cupboard is bare, and then we're going to see some fireworks. We'll see if I'm right. But this is typically what happens. You know, if a stock goes from, say, $10, hits $10 for the first time, it very quickly goes to $11 and $12. The same thing with $100. Same thing with $1,000. And on. Now we've got big numbers here. Now, this is also crazy. I am cold. Thank you so much. These are the IBIT $100 strikes. They are trading in crazy volume. So when you break that $100 strike on IBIT, the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF, that translates to people having an expectation. Hey, Super Soul Man. People have an expectation that Bitcoin will be trading around 180,000 by the 20th of December 2024. That is only 28 days away. Madness. 4 weeks. And the options traders expect us to be at 180,000. Yeah. I will eat my shoe if that does happen in the next 28 days. That'll be worth it. Anyway, let's get on to... wrong one. What am I doing? Yeah, let's move on with the story. Now, not just the IBIT futures, but also CME futures. This is from Jonah. CME Bitcoin options are telling you that there's a 16.5% chance that the Bitcoin price is higher than $120,000 before year end. I did say initially, typically when you have these big numbers like $100K, $100, $1,000, $10, the next 10 to 20% happens real fast once it's eclipsed. So 16.5% chance, I'll round it up to 20% chance that we could be at 120K by Christmas. Who's ready for that? Anyway, this is just options, traders, degens, gambling. Do they have a crystal ball? Some of them definitely do because they're moving big money. And this is another interesting one too. Where are we in the cycle and how does it compare to previous cycles? This is from the team at Glassnode. And here we are in black. That's the 22 plus cycle. We're up 570% from the bottom, ladies and gentlemen. Not bad. From 15.5 up to 100K. That's nearly a 6x on your money. 2018 to 2022 at the exact same point in time since the bottom, up 597%. 2015 to 2018, up 481%. Now, with Bitcoin trading above 99,000 as we speak, that 100K price tag is imminent, ladies and gentlemen. The question is, what happens afterwards? Now, what I decided to do, as I do, is take this and compare this to a previous cycle. I didn't take the blue cycle, which is kind of bombastic, but I did take the previous one because there's a lot of similarities with that. And I calculated that if the cycle 2018 to 2022 repeats and we go up to where that green line is, where the green arrow is pointing at the top of the green line, that is the gainer of, from where we are up to the top. So basically, the Bitcoin price went up 597% at this point in time, and then it went up to a further 2,000% from the beginning. So calculating that out, that means a potential 3.35x from here. And what is 3.35x times $100,000? Well, that's $335,000 if we repeat the previous cycle. Now, there are some things that are a little bit different. One, Bitcoin is harder. 2, Bitcoin is an institutional asset. 3, it's running out. So we have that scarcity thing. And who knows if $331,650 could happen. But that's if history repeats. People on the internet say, oh, he said it's going to 331. No. If history repeats, it is, yes. Now, let's look at some on-chain metrics too before we get into all the other news. And there's a ton of news today. I did warn you all. Long-term holder spending is increasing. Again, from the team at Glassnode, you can see here in the bottom right-hand corner, a little pink arrow. Long-term holder spending is accelerating a touch, but nowhere near what it was before. But some people are taking some lifestyle chips up around this area. But we have some good news. Don't worry, the ETFs are eating it up. So anytime a long-term holder sells, it's being absolutely gobbled up by the ETFs. So again, no need for concern. If the long-term holders choose to sell a little bit, it's not going to impact price. It's different this time in that regard. Also, despite the crazy rally that we've had up to $100,000 almost, the perpetual futures remain very, very timid. And if you look at March's local top, funding rates hit about approximately 0.07%. across all exchanges, and now we are a lot lower. So again, this is very muted, and we'll see if this continues, but it's nowhere near like what it was before. So that's also a bullish sign. The real FOMO has yet to come. And gold bugs, eat this. The gold bugs during the summer of 2024 were saying Bitcoin is trash. You should get gold. Gold is crushing Bitcoin. And yes, it did outperform Bitcoin for about 10 weeks, I think it was. But here, we're back. This is, again, from Glassnode. This is the 90-day performance, Bitcoin compared to commodities. Over the last 90 days, silver is up 8%, gold up 5.3%, and Bitcoin up 61.3%. Bitcoin is back, baby. Eat this. So yes, as I always say, every dog has its day in the sunshine. But it doesn't always continue. That's just a fact of life. And back to the hardness story. Bitcoin exchange balance is at an all-time low, ladies and gentlemen. This is from CryptoQuant. Their little chart. The purple line is the amount of drainage And you can see all-time low heading down precipitously as the Bitcoin price rises, because that's how it works. The less supply, the more demand, the more the price goes up. Simple laws of economics. And that is why I'm obsessed with Bitcoin. DBF 430, thank you so much for coming. Now, there's a lot more to go. We're not even a third of the way through the story today. Institutions are layering into Bitcoin. This is from OKX's research and their president, Hong Fang. And she said institutional investors are already buying Bitcoin, either directly or through ETFs. 70% of institutional investors also, the ones that aren't already in, plan to allocate capital to Bitcoin within the next 3 years. Well, good luck with that. Who knows what the price will be 3 years from now, especially with the perpetual bid narrative I've been talking about for a long time. The Saylors, it's going to buy 42 billion, then 100 billion. He said it very clear. It's going to happen in the next 3 years. That's enough to dry up the entire freshly minted supply. Even if he's the only buyer on the planet, Bitcoin price will not go down. That's how amazing it is. And Mr. 100, everybody asks, where's Mr. 100? Well, Mr. 100 stopped buying. He stopped buying at around $62,000, if I'm not mistaken. And he sold about 600 or 1,000 Bitcoin, only a tiny percentage, but they're hodling the rest. But this is from Vivek. Somebody has just bought $330 million worth of Bitcoin, and they now hold $2.5 billion. And they're doing the same thing, the same type of pattern as Mr. 100, except for they're buying 200, 200, 100, 400, 200, 100, 600, 300. Similar type of pattern. So is this another nation state, or is it Mr. 100 playing in a different wallet? We're not sure. But they're stacking stealthily, and one day we will find out who this is. It's probably Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Qatar. One of these groups is probably what money's on. A lot of people are thinking it could be Michael Dell. I'm sure he has a bag somewhere, but I don't think it's this big. B-Man, thank you so much as well for coming. But there's more. Lummis the LEGEND. This should be like an NFT from Bitcoin Archive. Shout out to Sanjay as well, who has been on fire today. Lummis says, it's very important that we protect Bitcoin and self-custody. We don't want to see Bitcoin controlled by governments because it's freedom money. And when she says controlled by governments, I think she also means foreign governments, because she's very big on the US Treasury setup where the US will deploy into Bitcoin. And this is a question that comes up a lot. Who told you that $10 billion could be bought under an executive order by the president without any congressional approval? And the answer is David Bailey said it. Trump could put billions into US Bitcoin reserve without congressional approval. So if he feels like doing it, he can do it, but only up to 10 billion. So that's where we are. Now, speaking of governments too, the SEC swamp drainage continues. We know we had the dear sad loss of our fallen one, Gary Gensler. Sarcasm. And this guy, his name is Lizard, and he voted against approving the spot Bitcoin ETF. Bye-bye. Everything is changing in the world. Massive, massive about face from what it was to where it is going. Like from anti-crypto to pro-crypto. From pro something I won't say what it is to anti. It's just incredible how the pendulum swings violently from one side to the other. And I'm happy it's now on our side, because I talk about crypto all the time. So it's no fun for me if everybody's against it. Anyhow, enough of that. Back to institutions. This is from Squawk Box New Market. Andrew Hone talks about their Bitcoin March is going to $100,000 and how they are launching their first ever institutional Bitcoin lending solution. So they will be able to give cash to institutions using their Bitcoin as collateral. And I made a detailed post on Patreon earlier today about how Bitcoin is going to be, in the future, pristine collateral. I'm not sure if I created a slide for that. I don't even remember. I think I forgot to. But basically, what other asset can you mark to market real-time 24/7 that has incredible liquidity? Bitcoin. What goes up in value? Bitcoin. Which is limited downside? Bitcoin. There you go. So there'll come a time where banks will be clamoring to give you money if you have Bitcoin somewhere. Anyway, exciting future. That's why we Bitcoin. And let's talk about the Bitcoin black hole for a minute. Yesterday was Thursday. This is the ETF action. BlackRock is stacking like mad. They had 4 huge days. We're talking between, north of $500 million days, and they had 3 $750 million days. One little firm. Fidelity is also ramping up. Fidelity had nearly a $300 million day yesterday. Thank you, Paddington. Paddington Bear is in the house, and B-Man back again. But these ETFs are really beginning to suck money in. And I think it's because the TradFi normies want to stack some Bitcoin before it hits $100,000. We're at 99,300. We're $700 away, which is a fraction of a percent. Anyway, we had the third largest day ever for the Bitcoin ETFs. This thing is accelerating. We had the summer doldrums, yes, the big smiley face, the big groan in the middle. We are day 220. And we had the third biggest day ever in the history of these ETFs. That is bonkers. But how much is being sucked out? Well, yesterday, the ETFs gobbled up 10,214 Bitcoin. Again, you can see we had bigger Bitcoin gobble days, but remember, the price wasn't $99,000. That's the difference. So it doesn't look like a big Bitcoin buy here compared to the dollar buy here because the price is so much more expensive. Your dollar is going to zero, and it doesn't go as far to stack Bitcoin. That's why you get in early, ladies and gentlemen, as you all know. But that's huge. For the kids at home watching, math problem of the day. Divide 10,214 by 450. Drop in the comment below. I'll check your homework. That is the multiple of daily Bitcoin issuance that's been eaten just by these 9 ETFs. It's staggering. We'll talk more about that in a minute too. And I calculated as well a quick update on the average. Since the inception, we have 220 trading days of Bitcoin ETFs already. The average consumption for BlackRock IBIT is nearly $2,200 a day for 220 days. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. 2,200, nearly 5 times daily issuance from one firm every single day. And Fidelity's at about 1,000. The rest I don't even count because they're small. But between these two, 3,200 Bitcoin a day. Only 450 issued. 2 firms. Okay? Everybody's clamoring over this. And who knows what else is happening all over the world with all the Mr. 100s and the Bhutans and the El Salvadors, etc. It's crazy. Now, a little bit of prescient history. Again, shout out to Sanjay. This is from Naval. This is 10 years ago. He's the Angel List co-founder, Naval Ravikant. And he said, if you're a small country that would like to be the richest per capita in the world, buy up all the Bitcoin you can and announce adoption. You're welcome. This is, sometimes people say very prescient, genius things. This was one. And they were nearly a decade too early. Can you imagine? Imagine how much 10 years ago you could have bought Bitcoin for like a couple $100. Stack a ton, print money, whatever, stack a ton, announce it, but it probably would have fallen on deaf ears back then. But anyway, this is what's going to happen. Game theory, ladies and gentlemen. And Tether, as Ivan says, when Tether prints, buy. Yet another $1 billion minted today at Tether. Crazy amount of stablecoins have been put into the system. And what are they used for? Anybody? Yeah. To buy Bitcoin and crypto. So that stuff is printed and it goes straight into the exchanges. This is a chart of the stablecoins flowing to exchanges to buy crypto. Okay. This chart goes back to 2017. Can you see anything different? Yeah. We had the biggest inflow ever in the history of crypto. $10.2 billion just over the last 30 days. And Tether printing $1 billion almost every 2 or 3 days. Crazy. That money is going to buy crypto. You don't take your fiat or your gold bars and exchange it for crypto. You need a stable coin to do it. And that's what's happening. Madness. That's the Tether story of the day. Now, a little bit of AI and Microsoft because it's all related to Bitcoin anyway. But this is just a little warning sign from Markets and Mayhem. The joys of tech products rushed to market without proper testing. Microsoft's Copilot apparently let users read the emails of CEOs, view HR documents, and otherwise gain access to info it was privy to, causing many customers to delay or outright cancel deployments. I'd imagine some very juicy stuff there. I do believe HR departments are terrible organizations. They should be put on the blockchain or driven by AI and not by humans that have certain special interests. But can you imagine the commentary? Oh, if I have time this weekend, I will try dig and find some of those documents because I guarantee you it'll make for a hilarious read. Anyhow, speaking of Microsoft, former Microsoft founder Bill Gates, the devil and his nemesis. Again, shout out to Sanjay. Can someone help this man who is focusing on culling the human population? But he said, I would short Bitcoin if there was an easy way. Can somebody help Bill Gates short Bitcoin, please? Give him a call, help him place a big multi-billion-dollar short. It'd be fun to see. And his track record is impeccable for shorting. He shorts things like Tesla. Yeah, lost his butt there. Wanted to short Bitcoin. Yeah, would have got his face ripped off there too. And it would be so fun if Microsoft add Bitcoin to their treasury. By the way, I don't know how much sway Bill Gates has over Microsoft and the board now. Probably not much. He probably still has some shares left. He sold them all, made investments, and lost a lot of money. If he had kept his bag and just held on to Microsoft, he'd be a top 5 richest person on the planet. Amazing story. So, by the way, keep your winners. Not that Microsoft is a winner, but still it's done better than his investments have. But the point is, Michael Saylor says, if you really hate Bitcoin, then short MicroStrategy. I promise we're not selling. And it's so funny because Michael Saylor is just inviting the shorts. Come, short this puppy because he knows where the price is going. And that in turn helps. Now, if it wasn't enough already, this happened today. Michael Saylor was on CNBS and they spoke about and this guy Sorkin. Oh my God. It's just, they're such bad interviewers. They don't do their research. Maybe they churn through 1,000 interviews a day. I don't know, but it was just unforgivable. But you could see Saylor was getting a little bit testy. But shout out to Archie from the Bitcoin Archive. He put together this beautiful summary. I couldn't have written it better myself, so I just stole his. And I did listen to the interview not once, but twice. But Saylor spoke about, trying to address the questions for this guy, Sorkin, Andrew Sorkin, I think is his name. MicroStrategy may be the most profitable company in the USA and the planet, actually. It's growing the fastest at the moment. They made $5.4 billion in Bitcoin gains in 2 weeks. Okay. Can you imagine a company making $5.4 billion in 2 weeks? Annualize that. And then calculate the earnings per share over a 2-week period. That's how traditional stocks are valued. This is what people don't understand about MicroStrategy. All you need to do is buy the stock, okay? They keep buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin keeps going up. The stock gets more valuable. It's just a waiting game. And it's an on-ramp for many around the world, too. That's what people don't get. That's $500 million a day in unrealized gains. Not many companies, in fact, no companies make $500 million a day. So people do not understand our business. They are a Bitcoin treasury business. And Michael Saylor expects Bitcoin to go up 29% a year for the next 21 years. I forgot because I was so busy today trading and stuff. Compound 29% per year for 21 years. It's a long string of zeros. It's completely bonkers. Anyway, that takes the price of Bitcoin up to $13 million. Market is buying Bitcoin 20x faster than the daily issuance. Yes, it is. That's why I do the the Bitcoin black hole data. I collect every single day for 220 days and I monitor it like a hawk because that is critical. I just showed you this one. A reminder, BlackRock alone are buying on average 2,200 Bitcoin a day for 220 days. Crazy. Where is it all going to come from? Anyway, back to this story. The green is highlighted. And we either make $3 billion on this week's convertible bond or $30 billion if Bitcoin does what we expect. That's what they're going to do. And he sat in a meeting for 20 minutes and he got a $500 million order to buy the convertible notes. And every Bitcoin you don't buy will cost you $13 million in the future. In fact, the second biggest insurance company in Europe, called Allianz, they just put $1 billion into the MicroStrategy bond. These insurance companies are hyper conservative. They don't want any downside risk at all. And they're YOLOing into MicroStrategy's bonds. Craziness. And this is kind of a little tweet I said earlier, because there is a lot of people kind of short MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy is about $423 as we speak. But using Saylor vernacular, I felt there was a short squeeze happening this morning. The Bitcoin nuclear reactor is spinning at 100 vol, and that's MicroStrategy. And I wouldn't be comfortable myself being short MicroStrategy going into the weekend, because there's a very high probability we're going to break 100K. And after that sell wall is gone, the short covering happens. And then we go real high, real fast. We'll see if that happens. Now, after 36 Bitcoin nuggets, a little bit of crypto and then macro and some stock news, Hunter Horsley says Solana is an incredible emerging asset and story. He predicts that many Bitcoin ETF buyers may be looking for the next big thing. And for a lot of investors, the answer to that is Solana. They're crazy. So it's nice to see Bitwise all in on Solana. And what's going on with Solana? Solana DeFi TVL surpasses $9 billion. Hello, degens. We're all doing that together. And Solana monthly DEX volume approaches, this is only a few hours ago, 4 hours ago, approaches $100 billion in just a month. And the month is only 21 days in. $100 billion in DEX volume. One chain. Madness. And, well, 4 hours later, that didn't take long. We already eclipsed 100.125 billion after 22 days. Nothing like it I've ever seen. A growth, an adoption, volume. It's madness. And it posed the question, this goes back to the Bitwise Hunter Horsley issue. It's like, I shared this last night. We have a raging crypto bull run, and every single day the ETH ETF drains. Keeps going down. Okay? BlackRock is selling, Fidelity is selling, Grayscale is selling, etc. What's going on? Either, two theories, either the TradFi normies have figured out that Ethereum is not the winner of the cycle, or the Sol ETF Osborne effect is happening. Osborne effect is when a new technology or a new version of something comes out, it stops people buying the old version. And maybe that's what's happening. I don't know. We'll see. Either way, it's kind of shocking. And SUI, big news from Cointelegraph, SUI enters a strategic partnership with Franklin Templeton Assets to support ecosystem growth and advanced blockchain technology solutions. By the way, Franklin Templeton also announced a Solana partnership at the Breakpoint event in 2024. I know because I was there. And they will be launching a mutual fund natively on the Solana blockchain. And this decision was highlighted again at that event. And Franklin Templeton praised Solana capabilities like scalability, cost efficiency for running financial systems on blockchain. This was always the mission. Notice Franklin Templeton understands crypto. They've only chosen two chains. Two chains. I need to wear my chains. Two chains. One is Solana first. Second is SUI. You don't hear them talking about any other chains. Okay? Just leave that there. And I know SUI had an outage 5 hours yesterday or something. when you're running at breakneck speed, you will crash. For anybody who rides motorbikes here or mountain bikes, you know what I'm talking about. Now, switching gears to Tesla. Sorry, the long story. So much to cover. So much goodness. This is from Tesla Chan. Self-driving, in fact. Tesla vehicles equipped with FSD now move almost like robotaxi in the US. They don't want driver intervention. When version 13 comes out, it's going to be even more advanced. In fact, 40 times to 100 times better. And we have a glorious future of self-driving cars. And I am very well aware that people like to drive and they like V8s and they like the smell of gasoline. I get that. I totally get that. But for people like me, I don't have time to drive. Okay? It's a chore. But having FSD in my cars now opens up a whole new world of alternatives. It brings other cities closer. I have no problem jumping in the car and driving to LA for 7 hours. Because I sit there, can read, watch YouTube, all that stuff. Don't tell anybody I do that, but yeah. You can work while you're in the car instead of going to airports and all that crap. So glorious future is coming. 2025 will be bonkers. Nobody is ready. Next, Cybertruck coming to China, also from Tesla Gen. They're working on regulatory approval to get the Cybertruck into China, and that will be a very popular vehicle. It's not by chance that Tesla has been bringing these things on a world tour around the place. In fact, the Cyber Cab is also on a world tour. It can be seen at shopping malls here in California. It can be seen in... There's a Kimberly or something lady who is fashioning with the Cyber Cab now with an Optimus robot in gold. It's all happening. This future is here. It's not something 5 years away or 2040. It's 2025, 2026. Things are going to kick off. I just hope the price stays low. And I know Tesla is popping today. Actually, let's check in on Tesla. Tesla's up $14 today. Yeah, stay down. Low 300s would be very nice. Give me a few more months. Next, the future has also landed in Spain. Shout out to T&D Tesla. This is a former Shell gas station, petrol station, I think they call them there, in Spain. And they turned into a new version V4 supercharger site. By the way, a supercharger site V4 can charge a Cybertruck 400 miles in 15 minutes. It's just about enough time to go get a coffee inside the store and come back. So anyway, and Tesla's largest battery storage ever. Shout out to the Australians. If they are awake, I think they are. The construction has officially begun on the biggest battery to be built in the Australian Capital Territory. The Australians represent 0.3% of the world population, and they are buying these megapacks hand over fist. There is no penetration anywhere else in the world except for Australia because they got sun, and they have laws where they want all energy to be renewable. And that's all they need is the batteries. And this is the Williamsdale project, which will go up to 500 megawatt hours. Massive, massive installation. By the way, the Giga Shanghai Mega Factory, I said that correct, Mega Factory, will be hopefully going live in Q1. And they will have, it is said, rumored to have 2 to 3 times the capacity of Lathrop, California. So that means these batteries, which have an insatiable demand, will 4x the numbers next year. And you saw the earnings last quarter from the Megapacks. It's going to be crazy, crazy. Good news is Wall Street doesn't know about it yet. And this is another good piece of news. JP Morgan raises Argentina's GDP forecast to 8.5% amid Milei's reforms, Trump meeting, and record low risk index. Milei he went to the whole government and bureaucracy of Argentina with a chainsaw, cut it all, cut 5 regulations a day, etc., and now the country has inflation under control. Its GDP is growing, and this is now going to be the playbook for other economies around the world. Get rid of bureaucracy. I'm not saying it's going to happen in Europe, but that's where they probably need to get rid of. No offense to Europeans out there, but you guys have way too much bureaucracy right now. US also, and just make the world a better place. Lower taxes, increase growth. What could be better? Control inflation. Stop money printing. Anyway, that's it. And speaking of our friends in India, Bloomberg Markets, India's foreign reserves had their biggest weekly fall ever, indicating central bank likely sold dollars in the market to support the local currency that fell to a record low this week. So basically, the rupee is crashing, but we know some of the smartest people in the world are in India, and they are stacking Bitcoin. And those that don't do it need to do it fast. But this is how much Bitcoin has gone up in rupee terms over the last couple of weeks, nearly 50%. Bonkers. Hey, Clint. So again, fiat is going to zero. Bitcoin is hard. It's going up. It's not hard to figure out. And FX, Euro, and free fall too. This is the list of how the Trump effect of the elections has made the dollar stronger. So if you think the dollar's doing well or the Bitcoin's doing well in dollar terms, you should compare it to other countries. The euro took it in the shorts, down 4.22% in just a very short window of time. Number 2, Danish krona. Number 3, Swedish krona. Number 4, British pound, all down about 3% over 3 weeks. Stunning development. And another view from Holger, the euro plunges to the lowest level in 2 years as bets on ECB rate cuts surge following terrible economic numbers. The economic engine of Europe is Germany. It's completely stalled out. And the car industry is getting massacred right now. Basically, they had a huge amount of their business coming from China. That all dried up. BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, toast. Real fast. And a little bit of sad news for us who like to trade. Next week is a short week. They have a thing called Thanksgiving in the United States. By the way, if it was not for this slide, I wouldn't even remember it's Thanksgiving next week. But the stock markets in the US will only be open for 3.5 days. They are taking a half day on... No, they're closed on Thursday and a half day on Friday. So at least we can perp trade crypto 24/7, which is always fun. Thank you all for coming. Sorry about it being a long story. It's just so much to share. And thank you for the over 8,000 people watching live. I appreciate you all. Have a good Friday. I'll be back recapping the week. And let's see if we break 100,000. And if we do, I'll jump on a live stream and answer your questions. It'll be a fun time. All right. Take care, everybody. Thank you again. Sean Donnelly, TND Tesla, K8, B-Man, Piper, everybody. You're just such wonderful people. Have a good night. See you tomorrow.